Might as well go now. I can't wait any longer. Hello, am I live? Am I live? Yep, I think I will be live soon. I'm live, yes, here we are. Hello everybody. Might as well go now, I can't wait any longer. Crap. Something's going on. Oh no, is this? Got it. I swear this thing records like a minute before you actually go live. It's weird. Like, that was said before I even went live. I don't know why YouTube streaming does that, guys. I don't know. Anyway, as you can see, I'm doing it like handheld because the holder broke and the new one is in the post office, and I'm gonna go in 45 minutes to go get it. So handheld, guys. And I wanted to stream so you guys could see my face and know that I am alive. Barely, but yeah. I hate essays. I used to like doing the essays. Now I really don't like doing essays. I just can't wait to get the dissertation done in a couple of months. Oh god, I've got to do 2 drafts of that. Why, hello there, Ritualist. Pleasant to see you. I'm hanging on. I'm hanging on, just about. Oh. But anyway, the uni work for now is behind us, so hopefully we should get more content out there in the future. But no sooner do I like get off the essay writing, I'm immediately in this really long, I swear it must have been 2 to 3 days worth of tweets, like this discussion, and I can't even remember how it started. It was something to do with Sargon, and then all the anti-SJWs and the SJWs versus the shitlords all just clashed, and then even some people who should know better said things, and then they did know better and everything was fine. But oh my god, the autism, and it was it was so autistic that even I look hungry, eat well. I'm not that hungry actually. I did just have a snack, but we're having tea soon. But anyway, so like, even David Sherratt, I missed him. He said something, but oh well, it's over now. It's over now, and I can't even remember what it was about and what it devolved into. But oh god, when I fell asleep last night after work, I get onto my computer because I saw that I had 800 notifications on Twitter. I'm just like, too far, guys, too far. 800, god, Twitter really does sap your time and energy, you know. But regardless, like, here I am. So those of you who are wondering why this week there wasn't actually a lot of content, I was sleeping too much. And then when I wanted to do something, I couldn't do it because it was too late. But got the last video out. I've actually been writing a lot of scripts recently though. I've written about 3 or 4. There's 2 more that I need to do, that I need to catch up on, and then I've got some other things in my tabs that I need to read and do videos on. Even if it's out of date, I just need to get it done, really. Get all that stuff out there and hope for the best. So like the Monkey Jones one was something I wanted to do for a while. I finally done it, so that's one off the list. I've been actually writing on paper just because it's been quicker, because I've been spending a lot of my time on my phone and I hate writing on touchscreen. So there we go. Got a nice little fountain pen and everything. I don't have them with me. Apart from that, it's reorganising stuff in here as well after being cooped up in here for a week. Oh, I see more people. Monster Demon, why hello there. Oh, I'm okay. Strike Team, if you make jokes at uni and they bomb, would that make you the uni bomber? Badumtis. I need to cut Twitter by 70%. Yeah, same. I really do. One Twitter fight a year. I get into probably quadruple that amount a day. He's a hero we need, and the hero we deserve. He's definitely not the one we don't deserve. But oh my god, everything seems to be getting worse. And still, the amount of people who are in denial or want to stop people from actually trying to fix things it's increasing. Like, I'm not going to name names, and usually I do name names, but I don't want to name names because I like these people, and I still consider them to either be good people or friendly acquaintances or friends even. We've not talked for a while, so I don't really know where we are right now, but it doesn't really matter. But they're obviously burnt out, and obviously, they're obviously bitter about things as well. But they, instead of just moving on with their lives because nobody's telling them they can't and do what they want to do, they play the blame game, and then they start attacking people like me. You know what I mean? Not necessarily myself personally, but the idea of the anti-SJW YouTuber. You know, they feel they've been betrayed or cheated by people, and they've lost a lot of money, or they got fed up with how things are, even though there's no community, there's no central authority that's determining how and what and whatever you should go about your activism or whatever. And basically, they're lashing out on hang on, Louis. I mean, Strike Team. I'm not seeing anything about the cat girls, but it's more Fox girls really that he doesn't like. But okay, I'm getting sidetracked. So they take to Twitter, and then they complain about us endlessly. Then they get in Twitter fights with us endlessly, and then they just want to move on. But obviously you don't want to move on because you're attacking people. Some of these people haven't done anything. They might have talked to you about something and didn't respond, or said something that you didn't want to hear, and now you're bitter. And the thing is, like, I did feel sorry for people like you, but when you wallow in self-pity, I lose my patience very quickly. Sorry. I'm all like, not far enough. And it really annoys me, because if you want to move on with your lives, if you want to not do the activism, if you want to put your head in the sand, go ahead. I'm not stopping you. I've got a video about this, guys. Trust me. This will be a scripted video. I just don't know when I'm going to release it. I don't know where it fits in. Cause I've got some Brexit stuff I need to do, and I've got to do something on PewDiePie, because there was some stuff afterwards, you know, with the whole history teacher. I'm glad I actually waited a couple of weeks, or maybe a week. God, time flows differently nowadays for me. But yeah, some things were confirmed for me, and some things weren't necessarily confirmed, but I don't need them to be necessarily to make the video. Alright, okay, alright, let's discuss the catgirl question. What did Louis say recently? What did he say? Oh god. Okay, let's have a look. Alright. Let's have a look. I'm trying to find it. What's he been saying? This must have been ages ago, because I don't see anything. He's been talking about Gillette a lot. No, I can't seem to see it. No, nobody's saying anything about catgirls. Oh wait, was it the catfish thing? Because it did talk about Ellie, didn't he, from Overwatch, but there's nothing about catgirls. What did he say recently? Who was he saying it to? I'm sure that you'll tell me, guys, but I don't see it. Weebury is never far away from swamp denizens. Yeah, we need to have a purge, and I'm sure Nuka would agree with us that there needs to be a purge of all the weebs and the catgirl lovers. That goes on. I don't care if they're like lolis or whatever the opposite of a loli is. Like, what's a mature anime character called? I don't know. What's a weeb milf? I don't know. But it needs to be purged, because it's spreading degeneracy. We don't need this degeneracy here. Take it to another Discord. And Fox girls also need to be purged. Sorry, Fox Troika, if you're watching this. But no, fox girls cannot consent. Okay, even if they're wily old foxes, they're still foxes. All right. I am not a lolly. I am 25 years old. I'm nearly a boomer. Okay. Mythies. I don't know about that. Carlos, have you seen the new craze in the discourse by circles where they just repeat what you... Yeah, I know, yeah. We want to win. We want to win. See, I can't even clap anymore because I'm doing this handheld. Boom, boom, like that, you know? I don't... Yeah, I've noticed increasingly that a lot of people just want to ignore everything that's going on. There's a decline of and potential destruction of Western civilization? Oh, it's not happening. Clearly it's not. You're just paranoid. And then all these things happen. And then they still put their heads in the sand. They keep going. They're going to keep digging and digging. And then eventually all we'll see is their feet. I mean, that's how the Roman Empire fell in a way. I don't agree with the comparisons. Because I've seen, I think I saw a video from this conservative guy. Or an article. I saw something. It might have been a picture, and they actually said, "Are we like the Roman Empire in the 400s?" And it's like, no. Firstly, you've been quite anachronistic in your comparison because there was one comparison they made which had nothing to do with the fall of the empire, to do with the fall of the republic, which wasn't a democracy anyway. It was an oligarchy where only men could vote, and even then, you could only vote in certain parts of the state. So like plebs voted with the tribute of the plebs, but they did not overall vote for the Senate. I think it depended really how rich you were as a pleb, I think. But regardless, only equites and patricians could vote for the Senate, if I remember correctly. And that had nothing to do with the decline and fall of the Western Roman Empire. People forget that as they declined, the Eastern Roman Empire actually hit its peak about 100 years later. So they can't say that it was complete destruction of that civilization, that it was something that lasted 2,000 years. No, 1,000 years, sorry. Yeah, they don't know the difference. I mean, there's some similarities, but again, people forgetting that there was a myriad of different reasons that aren't affecting us that affected the Western Roman Empire and later on the Eastern Roman Empire. It's not really good when you actually know the history, ritualist. Like, when you're comparing the Republic, when you're using parts of the fall of the Republic alongside parts of the fall of the Western Roman Empire, like, that's not a good... it's not a good comparison. I need to find where I saw that video or meme, wherever it was. But it's gone now. I'm probably never going to find it. Maybe I should do like a comparison of this, because I know that it's a central point of decline of the strange. Was it the strange decline of Europe? I forgot. You know, Douglas Murray's book, which I do have. I'll have to read parts of that to see where his comparison lies, and then I can get my books out about Rome and do some research on that, because I like to jog my memory. I like to make sure that it's completely foolproof, the argument. I get the facts right, because some people seem to be using anachronistic events that have nothing to do with the decline and fall of the Western Roman Empire. Fall of the European Union. Printing press actually was a net benefit for us. When you actually look at what, if you read anything to do with something called the Great Divergence, overall, it was a net benefit for us. The Reformation was going to happen anyway, but the ideas were spread quicker through the printing press. But the thing is, the 50 points, I think it was, 55 points by Martin Luther, weren't initially spread through the printing press. They actually spread like wildfire through hand, like through physical copies that people transcribed, and then later on they printed it. Like, people already knew about what he did. Then they finally got a chance to read it when he managed to get somebody to print it for him. But No, the printing press was actually the reason why Western civilization got better. But the thing is, like, the Reformation, stuff like that was boiling under the surface anyway. There'd been a few heresies before that were building up to this. That doesn't necessarily mean that one would lead to another. No, history isn't deterministic or anything, but it was boiling under the surface. Does the sound cut out randomly? Sorry, it's probably my left hand, because I'm using this handheld glebs. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's probably me as well going. But actually, I don't think there's really been a redistribution of power, though. I don't think the internet's really done that. Maybe in regards to who holds information, but in terms of who's still in charge, the internet, in my opinion, hasn't really given us what we really wanted. Like, Occupy in the end didn't go anywhere. The Arab Spring didn't end up the way we wanted it to end up, because that was organised on the internet, but overall when things happened on the ground, yeah, didn't work out for us, didn't it? Oh, by the way, I should maybe make a video on this, but I've just seen that the baby Hitler thing is now trending on Twitter. Now, you people who are watching probably know what's going on, but for those of you who don't, basically there was was it a March for Life protest, or just a march, and Ben Shapiro next to me. Now that's hot, He was there, and he was doing a speech, and the Daily Wire was recording it, and basically he said that the truth is, and from the clip I saw, it was out of context because it was from a long argument, but it's been deleted off of YouTube. Hopefully there's a mirror and I can do a video on it. But basically, he said that the truth is, no pro-life person would kill baby Hitler. Baby Hitler was a baby. In fact, he even said that Hitler was not Hitler when he was a baby. He was a baby. Well, he was Hitler, just that his personality and things like that, as he's trying to say, was not fully developed. And his opinion is that we should have taken Hitler from his parents and put him in a different family, even though he only became the Hitler we know in his adult life, not as a child. Like, his childhood didn't really have any bearing, from what I've read, on the man he would later become. It seems to me that World War One, being rejected from the art university, the University of High Art in Vienna, and then the events after World War One, Versailles, the Weimar Republic, things like that, all that actually influenced him to be the man he would later become. Not when he was a child. I mean, maybe you could argue his prejudices were already formed when he was an adult, but like, we could have put him in any other family in the 1880s, and chances are, most likely, he still would have been anti-Semitic. Like, that was a thing that people thought back then. Like, it depended where you were in Europe, but there were a hell of a lot of people who either hated Jews or didn't particularly like certain Jews, or were whatever, It's a spectrum of opinions. Like, the problem with that argument anyway is that, one, we don't know if he would still become the man that he later became, regardless of what family he was in. We know what people thought back then. Chances are he probably would have. And the problem with killing him is, well, if we kill him as a baby, one, that's infanticide, and that's messed up as it is. And also, we kill him, but who's to say that somebody down the line would have taken his place? Like, the people do realise that the former leader of the Nazi Party was still a part of the Nazi Party until he was purged, right? It could have been him. And would he have been better? Would he have been worse than Hitler? Who can say? We don't know. Like, we could have basically have created somebody even worse or somebody better, and it still would have been the Nazi Party. World War II still would have happened. So it doesn't matter which way you cut it, World War II probably would have happened. It just Maybe it could have been the communists, or maybe it could have been a different party altogether. Who knows? So both sides are wrong, but it's like, one, you can't just forcibly remove a baby from a family that has done nothing wrong, you know? And second, you can't kill a baby that has done nothing wrong. Both arguments are bad. The only difference is that the infanticide thing is even worse, and people are actually saying, oh, I would have killed Hitler, I would have had no regrets whatsoever. I wouldn't feel bad about killing a baby who I would know later on would become an evil dictator. And that's just inviting comparisons to Minority Report. Philip K. Dick was right, guys. Minority Report is a dystopia beyond belief. And these people probably would think, you know what, Minority Report, that's a way to catch crime, even though basically it's thought crime. It's like an updated 1984 in many ways. God, Philip K. Dick was so good. Okay, I know that sounds wrong, guys, but that's his name, okay? Genghis Khan replacing Hitler. Well, Genghis Khan was dead by then. I'm here for my reparations, Angloid. No. No, you, Skalk. Remove all possible Hitlers, exactly. Command and Conquer, Red Alert, basically. Exactly. I mean, you know, never mind the fact that all these people talking about potentially going back in time and removing Hitler don't know a thing, aren't historical experts, that they're not historians, they've not been taught history beyond, I assume, A-level. Actually, not even A-level. A-level history is not compulsory, so I guess it would be elementary and high school, right? Primary school. Like, these people show a staggering ignorance about how history works and how events happen. Like, it doesn't matter if you remove Hitler. Like, removing him doesn't stop World War One, because he wasn't even like a main player in World War One. He was just a soldier. Like, maybe if Germany had won the war, maybe if you told Ludendorff and all these other people, Kaiser, how to win the war, maybe then he wouldn't have risen. But again, like, that could have created something even worse. We could have been under the boot of militaristic Prussians, which I think is far worse than Weimar Germany, you know. Hitler man bad. See you later, ritualist. Well, he was bad, but still, you know, like, apparently you kill him as a baby and nobody worse or comparative doesn't turn up. Okay. Exactly. But we're lucky. We're lucky that time traveling beyond traveling into the future, as we are right now, isn't possible. Thank God. Traveling back in time. The more I think about it, the less I want it to happen. And the more I'm glad that the Doctor from Doctor Who, until recently, and even well, he did try actually at one point to change the future. Doesn't do it because it's something that could be abused. Like, I don't even think even the Master tried to do that. Even he knew that you don't do that. Oh my God, these idiots, man! It doesn't matter if you're on the right or the left. Like, it's a stupid argument. And it's Godwin's law. Godwin's law. I think Godwin was right. Like, bringing Hitler into it just ruins the argument. And then, I don't know. I have nothing left to say. I'll probably formulate a script on this. I just forgot who the Nazi Party leader was. Actually, let's have a look. What was he called again? I think it was Statler. There's some weird name. Let's see. No, I don't want to go on a full screen. I'm boomering out, guys. Let's see. Leader. Here we are. Oh, is it alphabetical? I don't need that. Hang on. NSDAP. Let's just put that in there on Wiki. Here we are. Drexler. That's it. It was Drexler. It was Drexler and Hitler then Bormann. Political position far right. Well, that is controversial. Wikipedia. You should know not to do that. It was actually far left. But I mean, that's the thing. Like, there's a reason why the flag has red in it. That's a socialist flag with their own version of it on top. Flags, remember, guys, are symbolic. The colours mean something. But yeah, Drexler. That's it. Drexler was the guy. Surprisingly, very little on him. I mean, there's no way that this guy was not going to cause a war at some point. And the Weimar Republic, even before the Nazi Party even took hold of the country, was already defying the Versailles Treaty, as a lot of countries were who lost World War One, and were building up forces and building up the foundations where they could do all this tank research and raise people. What they did, they rose like a really large militia force. And, well, it wasn't a militia force, it was a proper military force, but they said it was a militia. But they trained them as if they were actual soldiers. And that circumvented the 100,000 strong professional army, because these people weren't professionals, quote unquote, you know? So they were already heading down that path anyway. Even if the Nazis had never took power, I can guarantee you that the Weimar Republic would have found a way to get out of the Versailles Treaty or circumvent it, and war probably would have happened in a different way, probably. In my opinion, anyway. That's just my opinion. Yeah, if he wasn't rejected, he might have just become a normal artist like everybody else. See, why couldn't he just be like a Van Gogh? I don't know. Sam Hyde. Yeah, they had time-fixing beings, yeah. Virgin Hitler, cultural appropriated fashions from Chad Mussolini. He didn't really, though, did he? Like, to be fair, like, I was reading The Road to Serfdom, and it struck me that German socialism was already nationalistic. I mean, the communists, to some extent, weren't, but the German socialists, especially the, I guess you would argue the more centrist socialists, as in, social democrats, they were well behind the establishment and the ruling party and the monarchy. They saw the war, like all these people could agree that the war to them was a war between two civilizations, the commercialized liberal democracy of Britain and France, apart from Russia obviously, and the militaristic, non-commercialized, manly Germany. They saw themselves as this chivalrous society that wasn't bent on making money, even though they were one of the most industrialized, most richest countries on the planet, and were overtaking the British Empire, and they weren't even a proper empire. Like, they're an empire in name only. I mean, what, Germany and a small sausage factory in Tanganyika, to quote Blackadder, is not an empire, but whatever. Like, yeah, Rosa Luxemburg, yeah. Can I copy your homework? Sure, just change it a bit so the teacher doesn't notice. But yeah, they were already nationalistic. Like, not Spengler, was it Spengler? Sombart, I think it was, that Hayek quotes. He was talking like that it was a fight between two civilizations, and in many ways it was. Like, some people say that the war didn't have to happen. It wasn't inevitable. Yeah, no war is inevitable. But the idea that we weren't at some point going to clash with Germany, post Bismarck, come on, we were already clashing with them. Sure, we weren't shooting each other, but gunboat diplomacy, things like that. Like, I'm not necessarily saying that they were going to try and conquer France or anything, but they certainly weren't opposed to a war. We know this. We know that Germany wasn't opposed to a war. It was more Britain that didn't want a war. It was more France did want a war, but they probably wanted a limited war to reclaim Alsace and Lorraine. They didn't want a world war, that's for sure. And Russia would have wanted a war to reassert their influence over the Balkans, which was being challenged by Austria-Hungary, and Germany were supporting Austria-Hungary. They didn't have to, but they did, because Bismarck, God bless his soul, he knew that you had to walk a tightrope, and you had to please the two other monarchist, authoritarian regimes. And he did up until he got fired. I mean, people said World War One would never have happened if Bismarck was around. He would have been 100 years old. He'd have been an old man. But yeah, you're right. If they had a Bismarck-like figure, rather than people who cozied up to the Kaiser or influenced him in certain ways, because the problem with the Kaiser was he would change his mind a lot. So he would talk the big talk and say all these things, these high progressive things. Then he'd come to his senses, because remember, he wasn't an idiot. He was well known for his intelligence. He wasn't stupid. He was hot-headed, even as an old man. So he would say one thing, then he'd give it a think, and then he would be like, oh crap, I just realised what I just said, and quickly basically just backpedal. But the problem was, when World War One happened, it was too late to backpedal. So if they had somebody who could rein him in, which they didn't have, because he wouldn't surround himself with people who would rein him in, and nobody would want to rein him in because they wanted to keep their jobs, World War One kind of happened in a way because of that. If it was a democracy, maybe a proper democracy, maybe World War One would never have happened. That's how I think. I think if it was a liberal democracy like France or Britain or America, there wouldn't have been a World War One, because there would be no need. He would have had a vote of no confidence, I think. But whatever. I mean, yeah, maybe towards the end of the end, when war was inevitable, he regretted what he said. But well, sorry, Wilhelm, that's not how it works. Aggression in the name of defence will only antagonise people. Because I can see the aggression argument in two ways. Either it was a way to basically exert their dominance over Europe, or it was a defence mechanism, because the Prussian way of war and the German way of war throughout the world wars and before was offence is the best defence, essentially. They knew that the way to beat bigger armies than you was to outmaneuver them. That's how Prussia basically won against Russia and all these other countries that they fought. Actually, it was not Austria-Hungary. Well, Austria at the time, anyway. I have to get my names right. That's how they beat all these big empires and things like that, and how they managed to expand. It was a war of movement, and I guess in a way they thought that could happen diplomatically. They could do the same thing diplomatically. Well, see, Bismarck knew, and the Fredericks before Wilhelm II and Wilhelm I to some extent, they knew that you couldn't do that. Because remember, it went from realpolitik, which is a pragmatic way of going about politics and foreign relations, to Weltpolitik, worldpolitik. So that's Germany exerting themselves onto others to stake a claim in the world order, essentially. And, well, they can't do that. Oh, I just temporarily froze. The German question. It really is a German question. Your homies? You're all by yourself. I mean, you, Bearing Cab. I don't know. I mean, what strikes me is that Germany is kind of taking a book out of, taking a lesson from America's book, which is economic dominance and control over countries is the way to create an empire nowadays. It's informal empire. Gone are the days where you can simply go and conquer another country. You can't do that because somebody will stop you. Now all you have to do is do what Britain actually invented, informal empire technique. Well, we didn't invent it, but we invented the modern version of it, because before, informal empire was vassal states. So the Ottomans had suzerainities, the Romans had vassals, and because people forget, like, on the border of the Roman Empire, all across, were vassal states. They were buffer zones, and these were the people that would end up being forced out by people like the Goths and the Ostrogoths and the Huns and the Vandals and the Alans. And these are the people that were causing internal strife in the empire. And people forget that these people had hundreds of years of trade and exchange technologically between themselves and the Romans, which is why the Roman Empire's army, when they fought these barbarians, often lost, because they were improving technologically. They weren't on par with Rome in regards to, you know, maybe civic stuff, so, you know, they weren't exactly building brilliant monuments, although they later would with cathedrals and things like that, which is on par with some of the temples of Rome. But you know, they weren't inventing sewers and things like that until, you know, much later on. But you know, they knew a bit. They were creating strong centralized societies, and militarily they were on par with the Romans by this point, and they knew how to defeat the Romans. Tactically they developed as well, so that's why the Romans got beat, essentially, partly anyway. And that's what's happened now with America. Like, everybody's catching up to them, and it happened to the British as well. Everybody caught up, and once they catch up, the only way is down, unfortunately. So anyway, informal empire after that. Yeah, we invented it, Britain. Argentina was an informal colony. Bhutan, Nepal, Tibet at one point, believe it or not. All these other countries, we had countries who we didn't run, we didn't do anything, but we exerted strong influence. And America, after World War II, did the exact same thing. So you can, for example, what would be a strong example of that after World War II? I guess you could argue NATO countries, but they don't exert a strong influence on us politically. So I would say pick any South American country or any Middle Eastern country at the time. It's like Afghanistan and Iraq now, and Japan. Japan is a strong example of that, because to this day they still need American permission to do a lot of things when it comes to defence and things like that. Well, Germany has learnt that, and China has learnt that too. So while China is colonising Africa, and also us, believe it or not, in the West, why do you see all these Chinese industrial developers and real estate agents and office type, whatever, take your pick, you know, tertiary, primary and secondary industrial businesses coming over here? Because they're financially and economically colonising us. If they can, and they can own land here, you know, and that helps them, that benefits them. It doesn't benefit us. They don't benefit the locals in any substantial way, other than maybe wages. But even then, not really. But that's what Germany's doing with the euro. And why do you think that Greece owns money to them as opposed to just the European Union? Because Germany runs the economy of the European Union. They've now worked it out that the way to make the Fourth Reich is not through, at least not yet anyway, through forced conquest, but through economic conquest. You control the economy of the country, you basically control that country anyway. The problem is, though, Strike Team, it doesn't matter if they outclass us military tech or not. You're being outclassed by the things that are now more important, which is economic control. You're losing the economic control and even military control over your vassal states like Japan. Japan is now becoming more independent of the US, and there's nothing, it seems, that you can do about it, sadly. You know? And yeah, China is colonizing it like crazy. And it all started with Ethiopia 10 years ago. Like, to be fair, it's not the first time they've actually gone to Africa, the eastern part of Africa, and made vassals of African states. They did it in the 1400s. They didn't outright conquer it, but they didn't need to. You know? You know, it's like, it's weird. Like, I'm against what they're doing to me, but overall, it's like, you know, it's weird. How do I explain this? How do I explain what I'm about to say? I don't have a problem necessarily with any country. No. How do I explain this? Because not Darren Total War. Legend of Total War said this, that technically speaking, we don't have a problem with countries doing this. Like, you want to colonise, go ahead. It would be hypocritical of me to say, oh, China shouldn't be colonising Africa. It should be us colonising Africa. It should be us trying to influence them to be more liberal and capitalist, you know? It would be hypocritical of me to say that. Sure, they can do that, but they should expect the consequences. If that makes any sense. I don't know. Uh-oh. James is here. One belt, one road. Yeah. China needs to get out of me country, damn it. Skalk, I think you need to get the socialists out of your country. Land expropriation is not going to end well for you. But the thing is, right, speaking of South Africa, people forget that the Zulus have been victimised as well. Because this isn't just a black and white issue. Alright, I'll get my coat. But the Zulus are being victimised because they own a lot of land. I don't know exactly how much they own, but they own a lot of land because it's still an empire, essentially. It's weird. Like, when Britain took over the Zulu Empire, it's like we exiled the king for a little while. He came back eventually, and it's his descendants, that still run the Zulu kingdom to this day. Because we know that to make a strong and stable colony, sometimes it's best to rule with local rulers. That's what we did in India, and that's what we did in Egypt and Sudan, and that's what we did with South Africa. That's why you see Afrikaners fighting in the army. That's why you see Zulu nobles running the same places they'd always run for hundreds of years. The Zulus backed up us and the Boers to some extent. We also had other African auxiliaries with us anyway at the time, and there was already a British colony in South Africa before that. Is it the Khoi? I'm pretty sure I've seen the Zulus talk about. The Zulu leader has said that we're going to fight for our land. He definitely did say that. Fight for our. By the way, if I'm right, this is the same guy that's in Zulu. By the way, the film. He's in the film. He plays his great granddad. Yeah. Leave our land or face a war with the Zulu nation, Skalk. Zwelithini. I don't know how you pronounce it exactly. I think it's Zwelithini, yeah. Oh, I love the Zulus, man. They're so cool. And funny too. Got a good sense of humour. In a scathing attack, I'll just post this so you guys can read this as well. The Khoi as well, and also the Zulus. It's a strange mishmash of ethnic fighting. It's hard to explain, guys, but the Zulu king. Wait, here we are. In a scathing attack against the government, King Goodwill, that's it, Goodwill, yeah, says it should not even think about taking away land under the Ingonyama Trust or else face a war with the Zulu nation. This was 7 months ago. He's denying that he's beating the drums of war by calling on his subject to defend land. He's only doing what any other person, any good libertarian would do when the NAP is violated. He's called on all his subjects to think deeply about how this land should be protected and always remember that wherever they are Zulus first, irrespective of what profession they may be. He has threatened that KwaZulu-Natal is prepared to become its own state. Oof. You know what? If I was a white South African, I'd rather be in KwaZulu-Natal than South Africa. The majority of people living on that land don't have a problem. I'm talking about the majority. You cannot tell me that a small minority of people who want to impose their own way on us, that cannot happen. We live in a democracy here. Well, not anymore, Goodwill. Not anymore. This is the Soviet Union of South African republics. Hello, Chief Moody. They really don't give a shit? Oh, that's a shame, Skalk, because he's right in what he's saying. They're going to be victims of this. Exactly. Wait. The Bantu? They've been there hundreds of years. Sorry, not thousands of years. No, yeah, thousands of years. So you know the ANC, Skalk, you'll probably know this more than we do. What ethnicity are they then? Like, if they're attacking the Khoi, and the Zulus and the white South Africans, usually Afrikaners, like they must be attacking the English South African people as well, right? Or Scottish, whatever. Because there's more than just the Afrikaners that are white South Africans. Like, there's a big cultural difference. Michael Caine's worst nightmare. No, more like, I don't know, but so like, what ethnicity are they, and what reasons do they have to attack the Khoi people as well as the whites? Because it isn't just a white thing. I mean, the whites own most of the farms anyway, but obviously it's not just them that they have an issue with. South Africa. Here we are. Oh, I know who these people are. I think Nelson Mandela was part of that, wasn't he? Let's have a look. Holy shit! The king said that the Cape has seceded from South Africa. King Calvin Cornelius III. What a name. That is a great name. Calvin Cornelius. What a name. That is a great name. In the wake of Zwelithini ceded the Cape from the rest of the country. How did he do that? Humble pie tastes bad on dry toast. This guy is amazing. This guy's a shitlord. Damn, you've got some characters down there, guys. The Zulus, really? Oh yeah, Xhosa, yeah. Oh, I forgot how to pronounce it. I used to work with the guy who was Xhosa. Jesus. Yeah. Carlos, you're probably right. Gazi Kodzo. Well, he's West African, so most African Americans are not South, Southern, or Eastern, or Central African. They're West African. Yeah, you're probably right, Skalk. Yeah, wasn't Nelson Mandela Khoi? Oh no, he wasn't. He was Xhosa, wasn't he? It's ironic, isn't it, that Canada, to some extent, Australia, New Zealand, and America get shit constantly for what they did back in the day, but the oppression of indigenous peoples is still going on to this day in South Africa and many other African countries. Yeah, he's Xhosa. Yeah. But yeah, it's ironic, isn't it? It's still going on down there. It's just the hypocrisy really annoys me. Gordon Freeman, yeah. Oh, he just claims to be. Right, okay. But he seems to be some kind of leader for them though, right? See, if I was to do a video on South Africa, I would make sure that I would I'd make sure that I would get all the people that are affected by this land expropriation, because I do understand some of the people wanting to put emphasis on Afrikaners and other white South Africans, because they're probably going to suffer from this the most financially and maybe even socially, but you can't really ignore that this thing is not just to do with black versus white. It's natives versus conquerors, At least if you're a Khoi person, you would say that, wouldn't you? But that's why I've been delaying making that video, because I want to know more about it. Gazi is just doing the same thing, a Clavial revolution now, Anyway, I'm gonna go soon. It's been a while. I've gone over time, but aha, they're the ones that click. But I'm pretty sure they can. Xhosa's click, don't they? I don't know. They're not the only people who click or do different verbal stuff. I don't know. Let's have a look. I'm Just looking at something about yeah. You know what's weird though? I remember I had this children's history book. It was quite a thick book, but it showed even in Africa. Like, I mean, they didn't describe it this way, but it was quite clearly Bantu empire building, and they were showing it was the Bantus attacking the Bushmen in South Africa, I think it was. So even in this history book, they were showing that basically humans just attack people, you know. Oh, they're the sand people. Ah, right, okay. I just looked that up. Wow, there's only 10,000 left in South Africa. I mean, I know South Africa's got a small population anyway, but Jesus. That's probably worse than... I mean, there's millions of Native Americans, right? In America, they have Native Americans. How about just USA? Here we are. 5 million people. 10,000. I'm going to guess that one group has had it worse than the other, but I don't know. Different geography as well, so I can't say that. Ah, they mixed. That's why they click. Got it. I like how you're basically educating me, guys. I like this. So Ugandan Knuckles was wrong. Ugandans do not click. Oh wow. This is interesting. So I'm just reading, guys. This is pretty cool. Ah, here we are, Bantu. Christianity, traditional faiths, a minority of his people who follow Islam. Congo, Tanzania. Yeah. Actually, let me have a look at something. I've always wondered where Botswana is in list of richest nations. Oh, what would I call that now? How would I write that? I'm just gonna say list of nations. I guess it's GDP, right? Or is it gross national product? GDP. I'm gonna say GDP. Let's see where Botswana is, because I know that they're a rising country, aren't they? Well, this is projected. That's it. Countries could it'd be alright. Don't worry. Taiwan is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh yeah, so United Kingdom are 5th richest. I don't know how we're 5th richest at all, but whatever. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I wish it would just number it. I don't know which number this is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 21, 22, 23, 24. Apparently Nigeria might be third. Here we are, found a number. Nigeria is richer than Israel and Ireland by projected GDP. Bloody hell. 31st richest economy on the planet. Bloody hell. That's interesting. And then South Africa is 34, but not for long. Sorry, Scott. It's richer than Denmark? Jesus. This is weird. But this is only GDP, so in terms of actual riches, they're probably much lower. I don't know how to compare it, guys, so you can tell me in a bit. I'll read the chat. I'm trying to find Botswana. Botswana 116. Right, got it. Wait, they're below Zimbabwe? Come on. Alright, this is definitely the wrong way to go about it, isn't it, guys? If Botswana is below Zimbabwe, when it's obviously not the case. Like, they're a richer country. We all know this. Ah, they have oil. But they're using it correctly though, Carlos. You jump in the border wall. Why can't you just ask them, right? I'm sure they'd love you. Botswana would take you. Like, their music scene's pretty damn culturally heterogeneous. Like, they've got like all these interracial bands and things like that, just making killer metal and stuff like that. And they all seem pretty chill. Damn those Nigerians. Yeah, like, I've always known that Nigerians do well wherever they go. Hang on a sec, guys. I'll be back in just a second. I'm back. I told you I'd be back, guys. It's tea time. I'm back. Naked African women. No. It's my tea. It's my tea. I've got my tea. I'm gonna have to go soon. But I did say I was channel owners away. Time to shit post. Guys, I don't have my I'll be back screen anymore because I keep getting copyright claims for it by Indian companies. I don't know why, but yeah. Anyway, let's have a look. What's the best way of trying to find how, like, is it GNP? I still don't know. I just find it weird that that it's Botswana is all the way down there. I mean, you know, 116 is better than 200, you know. But the fact that Nigeria is 31st is interesting. Where the hell did I put that bloody link? I've completely lost it now. Where did I put it? I might have actually turned it off by accident, guys. Sorry. Richest list of by economy. Here we are. There we are. Let's have a look. Well, I don't want the top 20. I want everything. I don't need that. Countries by GDP. Here we are. Let's have a look. Now, this is the same one. What does red mean? I guess this is, if it's red, then I assume they're going to be going down. I don't know. Ireland, 5th. Oh, here we are. Here's a different list. Let's have a look. Egypt, 21. How is Egypt 21? That's weird. Peru's 50. Bloody hell. That's so weird. Alright, so we've got two. So this is GDP, PPP. GDP nominal. So if I can get the whole rank, that would be nice. Let's have a look. I'm just trying to find, like, the whole. Oh my god, what the fuck is this? This is ridiculous. I don't need this. Just put it in rank order, please. Oh wow. So I'm just reading all these things. It's interesting. Like Turkey's 18th. In terms of GDP, PPP, Nigeria is now 24th. I'm confused. Fuck it, whatever, guys. But the thing is, if you are if you're a capitalist society, you are rich, basically. Everyone hide. Did someone dox me? I don't know. Hey, I'm poor, Carlos. I can't pay everybody. But anyway, guys, maybe eventually, when I actually learn economics, I will be able to make a video about, you know, stuff like this. Because the reason why I was looking up that really in my head was I noticed that Stefan Molyneux was like, Afghanistan will never become a developed country because it's of its low IQ. The average IQ is 85, when at one point it was nearly developed in the 70s. So it can't be that. It can only be the religion and culture and the terrible system that they developed because of Islam that made it drop like a stone. I mean, if only 40 years ago it was almost like Iran, but this is only the cities, obviously. Like, people forget it was only the cities that were like that. But if that had never happened, if the communist revolution had never happened, if the Taliban had never happened, imagine where it could be now. You know, it was on its way, slowly but surely. But I imagine he wouldn't be saying things like that on Twitter. That's why I was wondering, because I've also been reading a book called Why Nations Fail. It's part history, part economics, part politics, I guess you could say. And from what I can gather, from what I saw from Afghanistan and Iran and their histories, that, yeah, I don't necessarily think race actually has all that much to do with running an effective economy, really. If you know what you're doing, if you do the right policies, which I don't think requires that much brain power, really. I mean, it's all there for you. We have hundreds of years of economic research and development and things like that. If you just implement some of those policies, you might end up seeing how Botswana is becoming, and how Nigeria is getting richer, and India is getting richer, and things like that. I mean, what about Saudi Arabia? You know, have they got a low IQ? They're a rich economy, but I know it's oil. But I mean, like Iran, like they have a long and proud history of Persian culture and society and art and things like that. You know, and they're well aware of it still. And you know, I don't know if they're necessarily growing, but they're not exactly poor, and the people hate the Ayatollah, like, because of the Iran-Iraq war. They hate him with a passion. Whole generations have grown up to despise him because 1 million men or something were killed in that war because they just threw them against machine gun fire, you know, World War One style. Well, not World War One style, but you know, World War One wasn't as simple. You know, I mean, maybe IQ does affect that. Obviously, it would, but it's as Priv said, it's the degenerate religion and the culture, you know. Government, exactly. That's the main argument of the book that I'm reading, that it's government and institutions that has a way bigger influence. Like, it doesn't I mean, it doesn't matter, you know. I mean, why did Europe overtake China? Well, Britain, really, not Europe. It was Britain that overtook China in becoming an industrial power. We did. Why? Probably institutions. Like, you know, there is research, and we do know that Europe and China, well, not Europe, Britain and China, using Europe is a stupid term anyway, because Europe had different countries at different levels of development at that time, as it still is today. You know, the Ukraine isn't on par with Poland even, let alone Britain. Oh, you gotta go, Priv. I'll see you later. I'm gonna go see myself, but like, where was I? Yeah. To compare Europe with China is ridiculous, because you put Russia in that, you put Austria in that, you put the variety of princely states. I don't know, but Britain overtook China, and the institutions and financial structure wasn't that much dissimilar. There were obviously differences, and those were the differences that made us be the first industrial power and not them. Basically, it was ultimately differences. Like, you know, there's a believe it or not, the Californian school of how the Great Divergence happened, and their entire thing is to tell us how similar it is. And it's like, yeah, it doesn't matter how similar or not we are to China in the 1700s. It still happened, and there's an obvious agenda to not necessarily tell me what happened, but more to get rid of Eurocentric histories. And it's like, well, it doesn't matter how similar they are, it still happened. So ultimately, it is how different we were that dictated how this happened. And obviously, the British institutions were a little bit more flexible. We're in a different environment. I'm not necessarily geographical environment. It didn't matter when it comes to geography, really. Again, they were similar. China knew what steam power was before we did. Well, not necessarily emperors, but more the bureaucracy behind them. Like, it was the emperors, but also the bureaucracy behind them as well. They were more conservative than us, and they were arrogant as well. Like, there's a famous example, and the Californians balk at this all the time, but they rejected British trade proposals. Like, there is nothing that you could give us that we do not need, that we could need, when we had technology to give them, we had money to give them. Like, one of the biggest things that we used to sell to the Chinese was silver, because that was what their economy was based on, while ours was based on gold. And that's the thing, isn't it? It's ultimately it was the institutions, I think, that caused it, because, you know, they ran differently. And when you have a power like China that is based heavily on an emperor and a bureaucracy that refuses to change, and increasingly they had emperors that weren't making the right decisions, because remember, the decision making rested on them, as opposed to we weren't a democracy, but we still elected our leaders who were accountable to the people and had to make the right decisions and things like that. There we go. We start to see that they're breaking down monopolies, and they're allowing patent laws and things like that to develop. And yeah, I don't buy the whole it was luck, it was just pure luck, it was the move to coal, it was purely geographical determinism. I mean, yeah, we had a shortage of wood, but there's no reason why we couldn't just buy the wood. We had the money. But anyway, I have to go, guys, so I have to eat my tea, then I've got to go and get my mic holder. So until next time, it's been your boy, and I will see you all laters. Bye.